Good evening everyone, hello and welcome to OTL Racing here on Twitch for round number 3 of season number 9 of our GT3 Championship here on Assetto Corsa Competizione. And we are just coming to the end of practice. It's nearly at the driver's briefing, so you'll see all the cars in the pits in 2 seconds. We are at Misano this evening. Wonderful circuit, quite fun of a drive through all 4, so it wouldn't be surprised to see a few of them this evening. Quite easy to get your cut tracks around here, but yeah, it's a wonderfully fun circuit to drive. Oh, he's going to give him a quick fly past there, I think. It's always a bit tempting, isn't it? Evening, Egger. Hope you're doing well, my man. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, just the last couple of laps being put in practice. Let's see, everyone's just finishing their laps and then coming straight in so that Sharpie doesn't shout at them. Or shout at them any more than he normally does anyways. So just a couple more cars to go into the pits then. So yes, so it's a fun circuit, one I'm pretty fond of now. I actually know how to do it not dreadfully, unless Lego tries to murder me, that is, of course. But yeah, it's good fun. Fairly challenging. Quinton, good evening, my man, Mormon. Ahoy there. Going to sailor speak now, are we? Yes, hope you're all well though. Good luck this evening, both of you. Yes. Well, you're allowed to qualify this time because you weren't a bad boy last week, so I reckon we'll make a driver out of you yet, Jerome. Wink, wink. No, you did right last week, didn't you? Sort of came through quite nicely, so starting a bit further forward might help. Oh, nice. That's not lovely. That'll add up. Tush, good evening. Nice to see you again. Again, if you'd rather me call you something else, let me know. And I'll try and pronounce that instead. But yeah, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well today. So yes, just a quick driver's briefing before they go off into qualifying. We saw Brignara last week at Hungaroring driving an absolutely superb race. Pretty much dominated. Conrad Vislocki wasn't able to quite match him. Had the fastest lap of the race, but yeah, come in a second. But Brignara leading the way at the moment in the standings. Just a 1 point between him and Christopher Larsen, and then Samuel Chumley himself only 3 points off the lead in third. So there's a good old battle going on at the top. No one's really been able to chain multiple results together quite yet. But yeah, they're getting there. They're getting there slowly. Yeah, Brignara, for example, 4th in round 1, won last week's race. Larsen won the first round, came 6th last week. So Chumley able to mix it by having 2 podium finishes, but nothing, no wins, but he's had a 2nd and a 3rd. So he's been in and around it. Vislocki himself, 12th in the first race, did not go to plan, but 2nd last week has kept him in the hunt. Kieran Sharp and Jamie Nuttall, 5th and 6th. Nuttall in 5th, Sharp just behind him. 2 finishes just behind that lead pack, haven't quite matched that pace as of yet. Rory Logue as well, having a solid start in this championship in 7th, and someone asked me last week or the week before, is that the same Rory Logue who does PUBG, who did PUBG esports? And it turns out yes it was, I believe. So it's pretty cool. And apparently he's only been sim racing for about 6 or 7 months. Makes you sick when people are that quick, that fast, doesn't it? I've been doing this for years and I'm still rubbish. Hey, some have got it, some haven't. In a minute, quality should start in about, literally a minute or two once they've sorted out the driver briefing. Once he's shouted at all the drivers, screaming at them not to crash, it doesn't normally have much effect, but you still try. You still try to tell them not to crash. And then if they crash, they crash. Yes, Larsen is in that big old Beamer. So he's pretty comfortable with it, isn't he? He knows what he's doing. But quality should start very shortly. Let's put the information on screen so you can see the practice session itself. Mormon 32.628, so looking pretty strong in that Bentley this week. It's a good car. See, you didn't need to change it, Jerome, did you? See, you're quick in it, you can manage. It's always interesting to see just the difference between quality and the race. And there's quite a lot of drivers that don't will just go around on a little race stint effectively in practice, put a good amount of fuel in and see how comfortable they are, and some will just try and churn out those really good hot laps. We've seen the McLarens do very well this season. It was pretty dominating at Hungaroring, and even again in practice there's 5 in the top 8. So yeah, it's clearly a strong car, but then that's because it's got quite a lot of quick drivers in them, so not a massive surprise. Got 36 with us this evening. So fingers crossed for some have seen some good racing. So in the AM class so far, Felix Seff in the Ferrari, 9 points clear at the top of the AM standings. Danny Martinez just behind him in second. The Spaniard just ahead of Timo Bühring in third. The German just 2 points behind him. And those three have pretty solid races, consistent races now for the first 2 rounds. So both doing very well. I'll have the fingers crossed for more good stuff this evening. So yeah, another minute or two, I'm sure the job briefing will be finito, and then they will get underway for their qualifying session. And then we will hop into the race. So the race, as always, 75 minutes. So 1 hour 15. Mandatory pit stop. Must refuel. You don't need to change tyres. If you really wanted to, I suppose you could. But yeah, no mandatory tyre change, but you must refuel. Pit window is for the 15 minutes in the centre of the race. So I think, what was it, 45 minutes? 45 minutes left until half an hour left is when they have to come in to the pits. So even if you make a pit stop outside of that window, you have to come in anyways during that pit window and put at least a litre of fuel in your car. But it takes 25 seconds, even if you're only putting a litre in. So yeah, that might influence what people will go with. I'd imagine they'll split it so they've got a lighter car, so they can push it a little bit harder. So longer driver briefing, so there'll be some yelling. You know, pointing at people, calling out people's names, some swearing, lots of insults. I'm joking, that's clearly not what's going on. Well, I hope not anyways. I mean, you tell me. Quinton, Reese and all those guys will know full well if they're getting a telling off. Last week wasn't too bad. There's a few incidents and whatnot, but it's quite, Hungaroring's a circuit where you do have to somewhat commit. There we go. You have to somewhat commit to your moves, and sometimes they get ever so slightly misjudged, don't they? So here we go then, out onto circuit with a somewhat close camera. Let's get slightly further away. Right, I'll go to this camera for now then. Yeah, Nicholas Airbrick. So got himself involved in a bit here and there last week. It's slightly scrappy, but sometimes at Hungaroring especially, it can go that way. He comes out onto circuit then in his interestingly coloured AMG. So again, we know he's got good pace, just hasn't really quite been able to make the most of it so far this season. Down in 8th at the moment, the third first week, so a podium in week 1 at Suzuka, but 16th in class last week. Did not go his way, was involved in a couple of incidents. Nothing horrendous, but sometimes, yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and a bit gutting, but such is life. Hopefully he'll have a good one this week. So we've got a few drivers not able to make tonight. I know for sure that Andrew Pike isn't able to make tonight. Got quite a few drivers not making the season, unfortunately. It's a good old thing about the SimGrid website. They're able to sign out and we can all track very easily who's not here. I know Acton and Pike both not here, unfortunately. I know the reasons as well, very good reasons. A few others not making it as well, but fingers crossed we'll have some good racing nonetheless. How's the stream going for everyone as well, by the way? It's a little bit laggy on my own screen, but hopefully for you all it won't be doing the same. I haven't really dropped frames yet, so fingers crossed it's just a me thing. So let's go on board with the current championship leader then, Mattia Brugnara. So we're so dominant last week, drove absolutely superbly. The Italian's going to be hoping for more of the same. One of his home circuits. All good for you. Lovely. Cheers. Thanks for the feedback. Much appreciated. Veloz87. Thank you very much for the follow. Mr. Smudgikins. How are you doing, man? To catch up one day, man. Hope you're doing well, dude. Really good to see you. Cheers for the Prime sub, of course. Very kind. But yeah, great to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Slabber mate, good evening. Funky Monkey, lovely, love the name. Cheers for the follow as well. Yeah, not too bad, Smudge, not too bad. Been worse. Very British reply that. It could be worse. No, not too bad at the moment. Cheers, man. Yeah, I hope things are all good over there in Deutschland. Yeah, I haven't spoken for a long time. I've seen you driving in your the AC League. I think Sharpie was doing for a little while as well. That was a hell of a challenge, but looked good fun. So Whitburn puts a cracking lap in. Has had loads of pace this championship. Just hasn't been able to put it together in the race. Just has got involved in a little bit too much. Just been a bit scrappy. And yeah, I mean, just on sheer pace, has definitely got enough to fight amongst the top. Should really probably be roughly where he is now. He's rapid, but just hasn't quite able to been able to harness that pace for the race itself. Just involved a little bit too much, or made a mistake, dropped back, and then just got a bit scrappy. So, he's able to do roughly what Brugnara did last week. He might have a good chance of a race victory for sure. Oh no, not two. As long as they're spelt differently. As long as he's not exactly the same pace, then I've got no chance. Ah, Eric. So I've got in the way, not being too much. Yeah, I think sometimes Smudge though, isn't it? Good time off, even if it's 6 months a year, whatever. Sometimes that's the best thing. There's no point just racing and racing and racing for the sake of it. Send you loopy very quickly. Plus, you just stop enjoying it. You're doing it because you're doing it. So fair play. Yeah, I'm sure we'll come back to it one day. And then hopefully get that sort of fire burning in your belly as well. Is that real life? Or, yeah, or just loves Rocket League? Oh, I gotta love a bit of Rocket League. I love Rocket League, by the way, Reece, so we won't diss on that, don't you worry. I'm looking forward to seeing how, yeah, if Larsen's exactly the same speed as the other Larsen, I'm screwed. Fujikawa, my favourite person called Nick. Do I know many others? I mean, you're in a group of one, but I mean, you're far and away the best in the group. So, how you doing, man? What time is it over there? It definitely isn't 8 PM. I can tell. Yeah, I know that. I've always forgetting the time difference. I hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Reece, nothing wrong with a bit of Rocket League. Gotta love that. Sharp into third. Chumley 32.799. The times always come tumbling down though. Rory Logue has done the time, but back into the pits. 10.13. Oh, lovely. Ah, yes, you're 10 hours behind. Crikey. Yes, that's a hell of a time difference. Oh no, not to be on the telly. That sounds all a bit more important than when you're on someone's computer. You're not going to get any more professional broadcasting. I mean, that won't change. Good lord. But it's not a problem if you don't want to chat. If you can't chat, sorry, there's not a problem. Hopefully you can catch the racing and enjoy that. That would be no problem at all, as long as people are enjoying the action. Which, fingers crossed, we'll have some good racing tonight. Fair enough, Leg. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be able to race for 75 minutes having not eaten dinner. Put it that way. This man needs his food. I mean, I look like a man that very clearly needs his food and gets it. Judging by the shape of me, gets plenty. Funky Monkey. Good evening. Burger. Oh, that's a good choice. I haven't had a burger for a while. Oh man, don't make me hungry. Please don't do that to me. How are you, Funky? Are you which one of Dean Power, James? Are you which one of those two are you? Dean Power or Veldman? I'm assuming you're one of one or the other. Okay, that's a good choice. It's not like Funky Monkey gives a clue away to which one of the two drivers. Or are you one of the quicker people that is already sat in the pits? But good either way. Good evening. So Whitburn going out again. Top 11. Second between them. No one really improving at the moment. A few are on outlaps though at the moment. Mormon on a hell of a lap as well through the final corner. So if this is a valid lap, or this is going to be close, it's definitely be second. It could even be close to pole if it's a valid time. Oh, and it is. Oh, and it's only just under half a tenth back from Trumley's time. 1:32.832. No, it's Pro-Am. Yeah, no, it's Pro-Am. So if I go further down, let's go on board with Peter Greaves. We know he could push further forward. There are 37 tonight. You can see there are classes. So if you get on the SimGrid website, if you go to this league, Reese, it would have yeah, you have to stand into its Pro and Am, like the multi classes GT3 and GT4. Effectively, it's same thing, Pro and Am, just different classes. So yeah, we've done that. We've done that. I think for every season, every GT3 season. It's always been mega. The Am class fight is always wicked to watch, to be honest. I've seen people like Ian Hall, for example, at the moment in 25th. I could easily see him rocket forward. Or maybe just might struggle tonight, who knows? But his race pace has just got insanely faster. So Peter Greaves, 24th at the moment, but he's quite good. He's not necessarily a hot lapper. He's often quite in that kind of position in qualifying, but he's very good at just making very few mistakes and pushing forward. Made a couple more mistakes than usual last week. Murdered Kyle Harris, which he felt, I think, very, very guilty for. His good friend Kyle. He's like, so sorry. But hey, it happens sometimes. Oh, that was a... he's going to have a sore bottom going over that sausage curb. Very much, as I was about to say, will not have improved his lap time, so that's going to have slightly screwed his pressures, I'd imagine, as well. Matt Whitburn on a flyer at the moment. Early on in his lap, though, but a couple of tenths up. And as I said, he's got lots of pace, just needs to harness it and make the most of it. If we can bring his A game, bring that to speed, those lap times he can set in quali into the race trim, and with the racecraft to boot, then he is going to be absolutely sorted. He will be right up the top end of it. He's not far off it at the moment in 7th, but he's in that quite crowded mid-pack. You've got Jordan Watson in 9th. I think he might be another new one to the league. I've noticed him in the previous rounds. In 9th with Rory Logue just behind him in 10th. That's with a mid-pack between Vislocky, Vingard and Timmerburing. Oscar Saristo. God, I don't know why I thought his name was said like that. I just made up a surname with the letters that are in his name, just not his name. And it improves again, so about half the gap now, just behind Nuttall in 3rd, so onto the 2nd row for Whitburn. He'll have another few goes. Rory Logue asking kindly if Quinton could get out of the way, but if Quinton's on a good lap, that is up to Rory to have not caught up too much, unfortunately. If he gets caught behind him, he's just going to give himself more room, or he's going to have to just be patient. And, oh, that might mean, yeah, there we go. Now Quinton should let Rory go because he is on an invalid lap. And hopefully Quinton will be a good boy, he is. So good stuff. Quinton's done many a season with us, and by many a season, this is season 9. I think he's done 7 of them, or maybe 6. He's done plenty. He's done more than a couple, put it that way. So Rory on a good lap at the moment. So it's a lovely flowing circuit, this as well. One you want to put a lot of concentration into getting the flow right, especially this part of the sector that they're going through now. It's part of the track. Lovely quick corners, just getting your gear in right, just getting the points you turn in right, making sure you don't turn in too sharply, just getting the flow, not scrubbing the speed off. So just give himself a little bit of room to the car in front, launching out the final turn, and he'll have another go. So clearly was not happy with that lap at all. This Locker just not long left himself, coming through that quick sector at the end of the lap. Mohamed Akram up into the top 10. Good lap from him. So again, another driver we know has got good pace, just hasn't been able to put it together in the race as of yet. Young driver, still learning a lot, but we'll see what he can do. So what can Conrad do? Could potentially move up to 7th here, maybe even 6th if he's gained enough in that last corner. No, not quite, but very, very close to the Sharp's time. It's locking up into 7th then. 1:33.180. Woo woo! There you are, Akram. Hello. Now, Plava, this is round number 3. So after this, we are halfway. So there's 6 rounds, all single 75-minute races each round. So this is Misano, and then obviously Kyalami next week. For round 4, Nürburgring round 5, and then the week after the final round on November 25th at Spa. So a good calendar, I think. Fairly classic circuits. We haven't done a few of them for a little while as well. Smallman 32.394 at the top at the moment. Wonderful lap, and he's done for qualifying, so he will not be able to defend that time. Those behind him, no Brugnara, Chumley especially, will go pushing hard. See what they can do. Definitely got the pace. Will they be able to do it though? When it matters. You can see in that mid-pack, always so close. So you see in around that 1 to 1.1, 1.2 second gap, there's about 5 cars, and then around that 1.4 to about 1.7, about another 10, 12, 13 cars. So close. There's always some good battling in and around that part of the grid. I'm sure we're going to have the same as always this evening. But yeah, Mormon very clearly getting comfortable with that Bentley this week. Many drivers finishing up then their quali. They're all done. They're in the pits. They are happy with their evening's work. Well, the morning's work. 10:14 AM in-game time. They're running on Hawaiian rush time. In honour of Nick, they're going to make him feel like it's the right time of day for him. Brugnara pushing hard, but currently not improving though. Yeah, and he's deemed he'll be better practicing the pit in and losing a little bit of the ball. It's an interesting entrance to the pits as well, because you can, if you don't practice that and you are braking way too early, you lose so much time. Chumley is down as well, no improvement for him. So most drivers will be settling with what they've already got. Very unlikely to improve much more. Someone else going into the gravel, very much not improving. So Whitburn trying to improve him, it's just by a 10th, might gain him another spot ahead of Nuttall in 4th. I think he's nailed that last corner as well. So we'll get, I think, 1 place here. There he does. Not far off of Chumley in 3rd, but not quite enough. Kieran Sharp, last corner himself. Might get a little bit of a slipstream here. I think it's Haskell in front. Solid in behind. Going to 10th or so, might get ahead of Nuttall. He does. Lovely. So it's about a quarter of a 10th ahead. He'll take that. A position is a position. Mislocky as well, we know has great pace. But 1:33, 1:35 does move him up into 7th. Right at the death. Rory Lowe down in 12th. Does not improve. 1.275 back. So he's going to have to work his way through the pack. So that mid-pack very congested. Ooh, famous. Yes, please. No. Yeah. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name. And ban. There we go. Lovely stuff. So, what a time by Mormon. All 3 fastest sectors. Very, very dominant. Don't see that too often, but it's not a surprise seeing how far ahead he is of everybody else. That is pretty much his best lap possible. You know, nail all 3 sectors and put them on the same lap. Cannot argue with that at all. Going to the AM. Class Buring. He's having a good season at the top of the class. Saristo not far off though. Just the 300ths of a second. Stravinsky will have a better race this time round. Danny Martinez alongside him on the row 2 of the AM. Whitburn. So that is relative. That is a relative. I think that might be the dad of Matt Whitburn. In 5th, Van der Wolf alongside him in 6th. Got Leg as well, Dean Power at the back, and Haskell too. Leg decided to get some food down him, and frankly, who can blame him? So, just under 3 minutes to go while they sort their setups out. Make sure they're fueling up, getting that thing ready. Akram, yes, not dying would be a pro strat, because was it the same to finish first? First, you have to finish. To finish anywhere, you've got to finish. So, yeah, you don't get points. You gotta be a good boy. Gotta get it to the end. So I see Rory Lake was the driver that went with the immature car number selection. Lovely stuff, Rory. Someone's got to do it. There's always someone with that car number. Because men are just toddlers, but bigger, aren't we, really? It's terrible. So 75-minute race, as I said previously. Nice sunny day. Track temperature of 24 degrees. Slight wind. That might be a bit interesting. Makes more of an effect than you would think. But again, hopefully, you know, we're always begging for a clean start, so that everyone can make the most of their evening. You just want to get a clean first, you know, 5 minutes, even the first couple of minutes, and see what they do from there. But you want to be in the race. Give yourself a chance. I started near Chris. We hit each other like 3 times, but what my fault? But yeah. What's that, Cramp? What are you gone with that, Cramp? Let's have a look. Oh, not bad. Yeah, that's quite nice. We'll take that. Team name, Yeet. Yeah, don't yeet. That's part of your problem. If you can stop yeeting, you'll be golden. Well, hey, gold. I mean, he is literally golden, isn't he? Look at that. I can't read. Not such a good view from there. Just a little bit of the right side of your car, but not much. Yeah, nice looking thing. Nice motor. Nice eclectic mix of colours. But yes, hopefully a cleaner start. And then that gives everybody the chance just to settle in and get into the race. It's a fairly tricky first few corners. You've got that slight tight right hand of immediate left and then quick right, deceptively quick right. But you have to get the left spot on. You want to not scrub off too much momentum through that left-hander. And come in nice and tight to the left and then launch it. And keep your foot in. You want to get the entry angle just right. And shoot yourself out, the right-hander. And get away nice and early in the lap. So to 10 seconds to go then, is people dropping off the jacks, making sure they keep their tyre warmers on for as long as possible. Hopefully no one forgetting to press drive. It does happen much more than you think, and I think everyone's done okay this week. Good stuff. And they are a 4D formation lap. It's obviously won't be at full pace, but you can see, for those who haven't done Misano before, it's quite a tight turn 1, but then immediate having to set yourself up for turn 2. And then at full pace wanting to get a bit left so you can absolutely launch it through turn 3 at full pelt. And then get yourself prepared for the double right. So it's an interesting first sector. Those first few corners pretty much set you up nicely or leave you vulnerable. So Mormon's got a big old car to defend with. Very large elbows to stick out. Brignara will be pushing. Trying to get ahead nice and early so we can try and do what he did last week and pull away very early doors. Beering and Saristo as well, 15th and 16th overall in quali, but the leading AM drivers. But there we are, right amongst a lot of GT3 cars, some decent pace GT3 cars just behind them as well. So they might try and have a good go pushing forward. We saw Peter Greaves we were on board with briefly earlier on, down in 29th, so we did not have a nice quali. Knows you can probably push further forward than that for sure, but just wasn't able to hook a lap up, and the times were pretty close. So a couple of tenths either way made quite a bit of difference. But as I said, he's one that's very solid in a race itself. Very different racecraft is needed, obviously. Hot lapping is a bit of a skill to itself. Eric Larsen with the flashing on the quali lap. On the formation lap. Maybe he knows he's on stream. Oh look, Ma, I'm on TV! Which is normally Reese's team name on a Tuesday. I think the game may be telling them to form up too wide, because at the back you have to absolutely floor it. You basically have to start racing really to get back into the too wide position. But they'll be sorted there. Let's stick to their widgets and they're all good. So further forward they are already formed up and ready to go then. 2 by 2. A moment on your right, but we'll be on the inside. Sorry, on the left of camera, but on the right hand side of the circuit, we'll have that inside line into turn number 1. We'll be immediately on the outside for turn 2, and then we'll have to see how he's got himself lined up for turn 3. A lot of right-handers after that until they get to the long straight.
Green light.
No drive-throughs at the start, always good to see. So Mormon, solid start, should hold on to first place at turn 1. There's going to be a few little nudges behind. We'll see how long they survive for. So lovely start from the Bentley. We've got 3rd and 4th, Chumley and Whitburn having a little bit of a contact. Chumley makes a little tap on to Whitburn. I think Chumley just trying to make sure he doesn't take an advantage from Whitburn there. Whitburn gets back up into 3rd. Kieran Sharp was trying to take advantage but couldn't quite make it. I would change car now, but I can't, unfortunately, because as you can see on the timing screens on the left, it's going mad, and I have to wait for that to sort itself out. Look, Mum, I'm on TV. Right, Loic. So once it's sorted itself out, once Mormon's sorted, we can go back to it. So there was quite a bit of car collisions going on there. So how many cars do we think got caught up in that? I'm going to go with like a lot. Let's go and have a look. How many? So might have been a lot of car, little door bumping, but I'm sure a few got harmed a bit more than others. Scott Brewer, so Brewer off the back. There's not too many massive gaps, so saying that might sort itself out in a minute. So Neworth, Brewer, Whitburn, Ian Hall down in 34th. Not the start here we'd have wanted. Slightly battered looking front end. That's a shame. So he's had such good pace in this championship. Timo Buring. Haskell, Sam Fleety down into 32nd, but Haskell's not had a good start at all. So hopefully no one needs to come in really early to get damage repairs. The Mormon lead out into lap 1. A good lead as well, 3/4 of a second. Brignara chasing him down as best he can, but he's got Whitburn all over his tail. And Sam Chumley not far behind as well. A little bit of a gap then back to Kieran Sharp, who then has Jamie Nuttall behind him for company. Sharp was on this back a lap ago, about half a lap ago. They've just been dropped a little bit by them. A fun race last week was basically constantly defending from one or another car. There was 2 cars basically just having a go at him all race. So he was very much getting the defensive practice in last week at Hungaroring. Jordan Watson in the Porsche then. Jamie Nuttall just in front. Trying to keep the gap not too big, just keeping it nice and compact at the early stages. Not going for anything too risky, too mad. I think technically everyone's still running. I think Scott Brewer, as I said, had the worst start of the lot. Always going for a bit of a move up the inside. That's not happening. That's a little bit ambitious. I think that'll be getting looked at. That's one way to take it. I'm sure that car is not best chuffed, and I wouldn't be either. So I think that may be getting a look at later on, or by the stewards before the next race. And I would be surprised if he maybe feels the wrath of the stewards as well. It wouldn't be an enormous penalty, I'd imagine, but we'll keep on top of these type of things. Matt Smith in 30 seconds. Got Martin Legg just up ahead. Not the best start for him as well. I think he had a little bit of a contact with someone on that previous lap. He's got Ian Hall behind. Hall has usually got great pace. Wonder how he'll fare tonight, though. I wonder how much damage he's got to that car as well. Gutting that he's had obviously a bit of an incident early on. Peter Greaves up into 25th, so actually he's made okay at the start. A few positions higher up than he qualified. Ryan Blanchett dropping down, if we can find him. No, I'm not going to be able to find him if he keeps moving. There we go, so lost a few positions, down to 33rd. Crikey, right, I've got absolutely no chance of saying that well. Let's just call you Raz, because there's no on earth I'm going to say that right unless I take about 15 minutes working it out. Azabini Dimok. No, that's about the best you're going to get, I'm afraid. So, cheers for the follow. So the leader then, Mormon, 1.6 second lead. So that great form he showed in qualifying, about 3/10 quicker than everyone else. He's putting in some cracking laps early doors in the race, setting the standards very nicely. Nearly 2-second lead. Back to Brunel. He's still fighting off Matt Whitburn. And Porsche having a good go at him. Just having a look, making him think. Chumley as well in for the fight. Chumley's always been rapid old so-and-so and driving very well as always. He's been very consistent this championship, and he's got a good chance, I think, of faring very, very well by the end. Oh, a little hit on those sausage skirts for Jamie Nuttall. That's not going to be nice. You'd have felt that coming through the wheel. But rescued it nicely. Jordan Watson not far behind as well. Vislocky a couple of seconds back, but you know how much good pace he's got. So plenty of time yet. Another 25 minutes or so until the pit window opens. So hopefully, again, no one had too much damage to the point where they can't get it to that pit window. Eric Larsen, another one of those new cracked drivers. Is he just constantly flashing? Does he know that he's doing that? Is he aware he keeps flashing? Slap me if you are there. You might have to ask. It's just. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm seeing things. I don't know. Maybe it's my old age. I'm going a bit. My eyes are up. Oh, hello. So who was that? Who was that? Off on the inside, just getting going again, I think. Was not Van der Wolf. Not sure. I think it might have been Daniel Simons. Yeah, it would have been. So down in 24th then. You can see a lot of Ferrari action in this mid-pack. AMG in the background. Veldman looking up the inside of Van der Wolf. Did not go for it though. Thought better of it, and probably rightly so. Savinsky just ahead of that pack. In 19th at the moment, so top 20. So plenty of fighting in this mid part of the field still. Veldman looking up the inside. Van der gives him room. Tries to go the long way round. I think Nico will have that inside line now. We'll get the driver out the corner. Slightly alongside still, just about, very close. I think Nico's going to give him room. Oh, they're going to touch, I think, or they're not. Good driving there, giving each other just enough space. Now, Van der slots in behind, no, not quite happening. Peter Greaves, though, might fancy a look up the insides of Van der Wolf. Listen to a quick section. Hopefully you won't get a corner cut for that. Are they going to give each other enough room? He does. Not the easiest one to hold on to. You are very much leaning on the car a little bit. Oh, Van der going wide, though. Easy to get a bit of a wiggle on there and go out onto that runoff. Greaves going as tight as you can and give him as much room as you can. That's some good driving. Ian Hill getting past Blanchett then. A little bits of car contact here and there happening at the moment. Just going aboard when I see them to see if we can find if anything has happened, but no major deaths that I can see as of yet. But you can see that snake behind from Peter Greaves backwards now. Look at that. It's a bit of a train of cars, about 8 of them, with very little distance between them. All the way back from Greaves to Buring. So Buring obviously caught up very early on in whatever kerfuffle went on. Obviously it was a bit in the mid-pack, leading one of the leading, I think it might be the leading AM driver in qualifying, but down in 29th overall at the moment. So still 37 cars on circuit though, still everyone going strong. Veldman looking up the inside of Danny Martinez then. Martinez giving him the room. AMG though, again, seeing if it can make its way past. Martinez slots in behind. So the move done for now though. Martinez can go on the attack. Those roles swap. and it'll be Nico who has to try and get his elbows out, although he's doing pretty well so far. So that going a little bit wide. This is why this track is so easy to get a drive through at. Wouldn't be surprised even if we saw a drive through really early in this race. So Gary Smith and Quinten van Vingerden. A little bit of car contact between the two, but no one has died. There's a little flash maybe, so maybe not best happy with something that went on there. Let's have a look, see if we can catch anything in the replay, just out of curiosity. So, oh, he's gone wide in the previous corner. No, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Kind of think Quinten might have had the rights to I don't know. That initially didn't look like the worst rejoin or anything, but I might be wrong. That's why we have stewards look at that kind of thing afterwards. Yeah, but on first viewing, I'm not so sure about that. That can get looked at later, as I say, as it always would do. See how Mormon is faring that lead. 3 seconds nearly. Can't argue with that. Brunara doing as best he can to try and catch him, but nothing really happening at the moment. You've still got Whitburn and Chumley in for the ride. Sharp not too far back, so these three may be battling a little bit. It's allowing Sharp and Nuttall to join this battle for the second place. A little bit of a Brunara train at the moment. The McLaren bringing all of his friends along for the ride. Yeah, Niklas Airbrick down in ninth at the moment, 1.6 seconds behind Vizlocki, so a little while for him to catch up. His gap's growing a little bit, but he's got a hell of a gap behind him. Back to Deson in 10th, but nearly 6 seconds, so just can focus on his own drive at the moment. Hasn't got to worry about attacking or defending anyone else. Larsen and Saristo having a little bit of contact. I wasn't saying that. Who was that who we saw just go off? Akram's dropped back a little bit, back in 15th. But still going strong though. He's still got plenty of race to make amends. It may have been Higgins, who ironically saw Lega killed me. He hasn't yet because Lega's a bit too far back for that. Higgins now down into 27th. Oh, a lot of close calls going on back there at the moment, so hopefully everyone just keeping their wits about them. Sam Fleet having a look at the alongside Simmons. And still a long time to go, still just over an hour, so no need to rush anything just yet. So you can see Visocki just 1.1 seconds back from Jordan Watson just ahead. These two trying to catch up to that train of cars. You can see further up the road. You see, look, they're just about a corner ahead at the moment. That Nuttall, Sharp, Chumley, Brunara and Whitburn group. So Brunara has been taken then. Let's go on board with that. Brunara. Oh, as Whitburn goes wide then. God, that's going to cost him heavily. Can he rescue it quickly enough though to get enough momentum? So Chumley's going past and Kevin Sharp is staying as close to Chumley as possible. Wants to pull alongside a little bit, just get a little bit more of a angle into the corner. Whitburn's going to have to give him room, make sure there's plenty of space for everybody to get through. Well, just about saves it then. So he's done a good job there. Could easily have lost 4 or 5 positions without even blinking there. Has just kept enough momentum to get back on track with enough speed to not be overtaken by 4, 5, maybe 6 cars. So very close near this front end at the moment. Very similar pace drivers. You can see the leader, Mormon, way off in the distance. But the rest of them, so Brunara's pulled a little bit in front of them again. So after that Whitburn mistake, did briefly get ahead and then drop back a bit. Brunara has popped it back up into second, and actually in the end Whitburn's mistake has made those gaps a little bit bigger, so actually it's given him a little bit more breathing room. Oh, Matt, it's saying that I mean, there's still the M class for a reason. It's like, you know, the pace varies in there as much as anything else. It's not sheer pace, it's the racecraft and the getting to the end cleanly is some of the challenge. I know what you mean, though. I mean, getting to this sort of, trying to get to the level I could race with these guys would take quite just forever, I think. I'm not even sure I'd ever get there, to be honest. A lot of practice would be needed. These guys are quick. Sprignaro, you can see a decent gap behind him. About 1.1 seconds. And in that train from Chumley, Whitburn Sharp back to Nuttall in 6th. Tony Martinez not having a good lap. He's dropped back to 29th now, so he's had a fairly large oof, I think, at some point. Okay, no, it's still going, as are all the drivers at the moment. Obviously that might change, we will see. Martin Legg is Ferrari. Not having the best of races so far. Had a good race last week, hasn't quite gone to plan as of yet. Again, might have got caught up in a little bit of give and take early on. Might have just been hampered a bit by that, we will see. I'm sure I'll find out after the race. I'm sure he'll be more than eager to tell us. Hopefully he's not listening to the stream. Just concentrate, Leg. Give a flash if you... Yes, he is. Hello, Leg. I told you he's listening. I tell him to mute the stream, but he doesn't listen. Good luck, Leg. Keep on going. Don't worry, I won't focus on you. I won't jinx yet. So, you know, again, driver with so much pace, but just hasn't quite connected it up tonight. Don't know whether he's run with a bit of damage as well. Not got too long until the pit window opens. About another 13.5 minutes or so. Joe Taskell still one. He's got Wojtek Neuwirth just behind him. So Neuwirth is one of the drivers who I think got quite up early on as well. You can see he's pushing to get past. So the gaps aren't massive as well all throughout the pack, so it's not like you can't start making spots up as you improve your pace. You see Martin Legg not too far ahead of him as well. Higgins and Fleety having a little bit of car contact. Looks like Higgins, where is he? So he's dropped a fair bit back, so I wonder what's gone on there. Simmons having a look up the inside. It says in 23rd, so where's Fleety then? So is it Fleety that lost out? Oh, it is. Oh dear, Fleety's in 30th. As you can see, he drops down the timing screen there. So I think maybe himself and Fleety having a bit of a moment. I was going to check if they had it with each other, but my race control tool crashed on me after I started it up. Didn't know that, didn't spot that until just now, so whoopsie daisies. Right, we'll have it running now for the final hour of the race. Oh well. So that's a shame, so he's got to push on again. Hopefully again not too much damage, so he can get his mind back in the game and keep pushing. You can see that group just ahead though. Look, Felix F. He's got Martinez and Whitburn not far behind him, but he's got Buring. Look at this. It's a chef. You've got Buring, Dean Power, Simmons, Higgins, all very, very close together. Makes me a little bit nervous. Always in there. There's long trains in the mid pack. Always makes you a little bit twitchy. But it's good to see they're all going strong at the moment. Peter Greaves, 2.6 seconds back from Savinsky in 21st. So still he's making positions up slowly but surely from his start positions. Very good at doing that. Able to snap on the mistakes of any of the cars in front. So Savinsky not back from another train. We've got Veldman, Larsen, Smith, Van Vingerden and Akram right in front of him. Then another little gap and then another little train. I say little train, it's Son, Galbraith, Larsen, Sarcito, I've done it again, Saristo, Rory Logue as well. Just going to board with the leader very briefly then, look at this. dominant performance so far, really superb drive, so can't complain about the Bentley anymore. He's definitely worked it out. It was at like 6.2 seconds his lead, so that vital start to the race where you just pull away enough that you can concentrate on your own race and everyone else starts fighting. Whitburn having a little bit of a look, a little bit of a dummy to Chumley. So these two fighting, maybe letting Brignara get ahead a little bit easier than they would like. And he's just pulling away bit by bit. And he won't mind that. Brignara will not mind that at all. A bit of touchy-touchy between Saristo and Larsen. Not sure massively happy about that, but we'll see. Just, I think, a little bit of door banging. But everyone's still alive, thankfully. But Logue as well coming along to try and take advantage. With Oscar having to get defensive in the Audi. Leading AM driver at the moment, up in 11th. Good start for him. Boy Quinton in the big old Lexus. Akram just ahead of him. Gary Smith, Eric Larsen, Nico Velban, Shavinsky, Conor Galbraith right in behind him. Peter Greaves not all that far back off as well. Oh, saying that. So what's happened there? We had a lot of different car contacts all happen at the same time, but in different places. I think Chumley and Whitburn may be having a little bit of contact. Let's see if we can catch it on replay. Got to Helicam. He's going to have a very ambitious... Oh, that's bold. Yeah, and then... Tricky on that. I'm imagining we'll get looked at later on. Oh, fair play. Okay, no, fair... I mean, still might get a penalty for that. You still got... You know, you can't just get away with it completely because you let him pass. But, fair play. He's gone, nope, that I shouldn't have done that. I'll let you through. So that's solid stuff there. Not on the initial move. That wasn't solid, but... The sportsmanship afterwards was good. That's what you want to see. But Daniel Forfin has lost a bit of ground to Chumley, definitely to Brignara. Brignara in a good position at the moment. 2.5 seconds clear. So we have had a drive-through be served as well. It's by Scott Brewer. His first drive-through of the race. Oh, bit of sausage curb action there for Eric Larsen. And himself and Shavinsky having a bit of a set too. He's in 19th, he's just behind Shavinsky now. The 595 and the 107. They've got Conor Galbraith behind Peter Greaves as well as these guys are fighting amongst themselves. He'll hope they'll slamming each other up. Give himself a chance to close that gap. Rory Logan a little bit on the rear of this train. It's clear of that the train we looked at earlier with Akram, Van Vingerd and Smith, Feldman, Savinsky, Larsen, Galbraith as well. Oh, off he goes into the gravel. Not where he wants to be. Especially on a quick section of track. Going to lose a fair bit of momentum there, so that gap will have just grown and grown. But still facing in the right direction, which is the important thing. So you can see now that Brignara, 2.8 seconds clear. In second place, still 6 seconds back from Moorman. Let's close that gap down a little bit, but not by much. You see that Whitburn, look at this, all over the rear of Chumley. He's got to get that momentum. He's going to give him enough room just about. Whitburn will use all of the runoff, all of that corner. Try and open up the corner as much as he can, get his foot down as early as possible on the loud pedal. So wasn't able to get enough momentum to get closer to Chumley. You can see Kieran Sharp just behind him as well, just not quite able to close that gap up at the moment. A bit of door banging going on between Smith and Shavinsky. And there's another one. So you can imagine the amount of input. There's a little boop as well on the there's the Aston of Galbraith behind. It's a bit smarter there, I think. The Bentley, I think it was. The Galbraith, I didn't think did too much wrong there. The Bentley got tapped wide and then he's sort of come across back towards the apex like there's no one there, and Galbraith has, fair enough, had moved up to the inside and gone up towards the apex. So I just needed to be a bit smarter about that. I think it was Eric Larsen. Yeah, it was. So just got to be nothing too awful, but just needs to give just a bit of awareness. Just got to be careful. But luckily, all good. Everyone's still on track and pointing in the right direction. So pit window about to open then. That's just over 4 minutes time. 15-minute window for the rest of the race. No, not in this now. So it wasn't originally planned for the Rookie League, that. It was something that came about sort of a little bit last minute actually for the Rookie League, especially as it was multi-class. But no, this is all post-race, so these all get looked at after the fact. We're able to automatically detect most of the collisions in the race. Drivers can report stuff in case we've missed, but we auto detect most incidents. Now we can we'll penalise what is bad enough to penalise. So far, not been too bad. It's been a fair bit of door rubbing here and there, but not too much mass murdering going on so far, which is always nice. So what a drive from Moorman then. Knew he had the pace, clearly. I mean, you get pole by as far as he did, then you've got the car feeling quite good. And it's clearly up the pace in this Bentley very nicely, nearly 7 seconds clear of Brignara. Yeah, Chumley's still trying to keep Matt Whitburn at bay. Whitburn, I think it was last week with Kieran Sharp at Hungaroring, just lap upon lap of just following the rear of the car and just trying to get past. Just maybe the odd mistake here or there as well, hurting it. Oh, okay. Oh, that's a shame. No, we will get that seen, don't you worry. That will get looked at for sure. If not, I mean, if you want to report it as well in the form, then it definitely gets looked at. But I'm sure if it's a proper murder, it will have detected it in the tool. So, who's the friend? Just if you don't mind me asking, just curious. So there's a few cars that I think got caught up early on in a few bits. So we've lost so far. We've lost tonight now. So there have been a few people put. Well, it's been one leave us, I think, Sam Fleety, which is a shame. Gary Smith and John Higgins in the pits though. So I wonder if they've maybe had a coming together, maybe had their own incidents. We'll probably not know during the race, unfortunately. So Daniel Simon to us, Buring. Maybe having a little bit of a car contact. Got a bit, Larsen up in 19th as well, in a bit of a moment on the previous lap, but still going well. Right in that mid-pack, so still plenty of... yeah, I was wondering why he was down in 30th. I didn't know... Oh, that's your friend, is it? That's cool. Oh, no, there we are, drive-through. A minute and a half before the pit window opens. That's annoying, so he's going to have to come through the whole pit lane once, and then... so we need to get to practice it, I suppose. So that's a massive shame, but would not be surprised to see a few more pop up in the next few laps. Yeah, Nico doing what I would do and serving it immediately. Fingers crossed he doesn't speed in the pits. Done that before just to make sure the race get worse and worse and worse. Oh, now getting a little bit loose on the throttle there. So let's Kieran Sharp get away a little bit into the double right. Oh, spinner in front, and that is... Oh, that's not a good rejoin. That is not a good rejoin. I think, well, I'd say rejoin. He's in the middle of the track, but then he's moved, and that's never what you want to do. So that's Brugnara and Chumley, I think. Well, it's not Brugnara and Chumley. That's Whitburn and Chumley. So let's have a look what happens here. So there's going to be a little contact, maybe. Let's see. So you can see Sharp and Nuttall just behind them on circuit. We were on board with those two. I think Whitburn's going to go maybe in a little bit hot. Just tag him. Oh, it looks a bit netcody. And then the problem here is Whitburn's in the way, and then that's the movement. That's the. I get why he's moved, but the problem that can cause is everyone then has a moving obstacle, and you don't know where it's going. Sometimes it's better to just be, even if you're on the track, just be a stationary obstacle, and then everyone else can work out where you're going from there. And the pit window is open. Yeah, just sometimes, even if you're on track, it's better to be just a stationary obstacle until there's no cars around, then move. Because if you're moving, everyone's trying to predict what you're about to do, and that's very, very difficult. So yeah, Chumley down to 6th, then Whitburn in 7th, Christopher Larsen and Rory Logue straight into the pits at the first opportunity then. So it's a small pit window anyways. So Kieran Sharp up into 3rd, but now there's a bit of a train behind him. So Conrad Visocki has really taken benefit of that incident we saw. Up into 4th now, Nuttall 5th, Chumley and Whitburn down to 6th and 7th though, after that collision. So a lot of cars coming into the pit. Galbraith, Akram, Ericsson coming into the pit. Daniel Simons, Felix Sheff, Danny Martinez, Ian Hall, all coming in immediately. So I'm sure a few drivers there fixing some damage. We've got 2 retirees at the moment. Gary Smith alongside Sam Flutie. John Higgins in the pits as well. I think he may be done unless he's repairing a lot of damage because he's been in the pits for some time. Yeah, all aboard the Akram Express. Choo choo. There's quite a few trains in this race so far. I'll say that for nothing. Peter Graves up into 14th at the moment then. A few pit-ins, so that might skew the placements just a tad, but still going well. Look at that, all on his own. Nice quiet race for him. Just nothing happening, I'm sure. But Whitburn into the pits straight away. So is the leader, Mormon. So look at that, straight into the pits. Early doors. Matt Whitburn as well. He'll be dropping down a fair few positions. D. Son as well. So taking their mandatory pit stop nice and early. First couple of minutes of that window being open. Mormon's lead pretty solid as long as he's not made an absolute mountain out of a molehill in terms of his pit entry or missing his box. He'll be okay as long as he doesn't speed in the pits or get a drive through. For anything silly, he'll be as good as gold, you would imagine. It can be. It depends really. I mean, at the front the standard of driving is just very high, so it's like you get, in terms of just consistency, you're waiting for mistakes, and they don't come along all that often. Saying that, I said that's anything maybe with Matt Whitburn. He's got that pace. Kieran Sharp comes into the pits then. No, Matt Whitburn's got the pace. Just too many mistakes. I mean, that bump on Chumley was the tiniest tap. I mean, I almost looked netcody on my screen. Look at this: Sharp, Nuttall, and Airbrick all in at the same time. Really want to make sure you nail your pit entrance here. Because missing your box at all here or being moved and losing a few seconds really when it's that close makes the world of difference. Chumley's still going now, not far behind Conrad Visocki. So we'll wait until the end of the pit window and we'll get a better idea for who is where, if there's been any undercuts and overcuts working well for them. Proxy Races, thank you for the follow as well, much appreciate that. Hope you're having a good day so far. So, great to see you. Help into the big. Yeah, it's just all about setting the driver up in front, really, isn't it? You want to just diving up the inside at the first opportunity. It's kind of smarter. The smarter thing to do. Always spend a little bit of time behind them. Just see where they're maybe. Sometimes you'll see a driver really struggle at a certain corner or two, and you'll be like, right, I'm just going to set them up for a couple of laps. Just you know, sometimes you sort of mind punt people. You get so close to them for so long that they just break eventually, and you're like, thank you. Through I go. But yeah, the slower corners here, the much slower corners. A little bit wide there from Chumley. Again, these guys still having to come into pit fairly shortly. There's quite a few pitting early compared to normal. First 5 minutes. Good half the grid, maybe more, have already jumped into the pit lane. Van Gerden, Savinsky and Paul Whitburn in pits and coming out at the moment. So they've served their pit stop. But yeah, those slow corners, you just need to make sure you're nailing the corners preceding that so that you are in a good position to go for it. And hope that the other car isn't really good at its defending and getting its elbows out or just taking defensive lines, because then it can be an absolute nightmare. Nothing like Hungaroring last week, that's tricky. That can be tough. So we've had another car with a drive through then, car number 29. So that would be Nico Veldman. So what was one we saw? No, that might be one we saw, unless he's got another one, which would be bad. I know, he got one just before the pit window started, didn't he? So, just a 2 then so far, but Misano is very much, even on shorter races, when we had 45-minute races in GT3, in our GT3 league, on quite a few occasions, you'd get loads of drive-throughs come through in the last 5 minutes, loads 5-10 minutes. Would not be a surprise at all to know there's quite a few drivers probably on 2 or even 3 track cut warnings, and obviously if you're on 3, you have none left, and you get one more, you are being given your drive-through. Fingers crossed for them that doesn't happen, but we will see. Fisocchi and Watson into the pits now then. So Sharp a little bit behind Nuttall then. It's not made the jump. It's 2.2 seconds is the gap, so a decent sized gap. So maybe Nuttall just getting that overcut working for him. But still, there's a couple of seconds between them all. Nuttall fair way back from the car in front, but again, most of the cars in front of him still need to pit or are pitting as we speak. But Moorman's he's in a superb position. We'll have to see once Brignara and Chumley decide to come in though. That will be the telling time. See how far ahead is Moorman going to be, if he's ahead at all. You'd assume he really should be. But yeah, still a bit of time before we find out for certain. So Brignara into the pits then. So here we go. One of the cars really challenging. We can see he's having to take a slightly wider line because he couldn't see his pit box if he was driving down on the left hand side. There were a few cars already in the pit lane earlier on, so on the brakes hard there as well. So hopefully hit the pit box nice and on the money. Chumley's still going, pitting later into the window. Still just under 7 minutes left to make that mandatory stop. So I think Fisocchi and Matt Whitburn might have had a bit of contact as well. You can see Whitburn just a bit behind there. He's in behind Jordan Watson at the moment. It's coupled with him, so he's trying to make his way past. But again, just got to be patient. It's those little mistakes that Really ruined the chance. The Matt Whitburn should be right up the top all the time. He's really quick. Very, very fast. It's just, yeah, just gets involved in a few too many bits and bobs. It's a shame. Obviously not necessarily dirty, maybe just a little bit impatient, but it's clearly got raw pace. We've definitely got that. Conor Galbraith with a drive through, as I said. We're about halfway through now. Oh, Dean Powell with a stop go 30s. So that will be for speeding in the pit lane. A penalty that I seem to be very fond of. One of my mostly acquired penalties. So Chumley into the pits. No, sorry, Chumley into the pits. Saristo. Oscar, I really apologise for butchering your name every time I say it. I am doing my best, but obviously when I say your name, I'm doing a pretty shocking job of it. So I do apologise. So Oscar into the pits from second. Chumley and Greaves still out on track. Veldman as well, still to make that mandatory stop. Has took his drive through just before the window, but yeah, still needs to make that mandatory serviced stop. Martin Legg as always as well, going very late into the pit window. So Mormon, what sort of lead are you going to come out with? So he is just coming out of turn 3. Brignara. It's not an enormous gap, is it? It's roughly, it's pretty akin to what it was at the start. Very, very similar gap. So actually didn't stretch that lead out, but didn't lose it at all. The cars behind him seem to do a good job of making sure they stayed as close to Mormon as they could. You know, you want to be as close as possible, because despite them clearly having a superb race up to this point, you want to be close enough so that if they do make just one mistake, and you never know, it could be with a back marker. I think we nearly saw Brignara wiped out last week, trying to get past a back marker. Just a misjudgment, a bit of miscommunication between the two, and it nearly finished his race from the lead. So those things do happen. Just keep your eye on them. Oh, good question. Do you know what? It's not one I'm particularly adept at answering. Give me a second. Do you know what? I'll look at the results from last week and I'll let you know. Hungara Ring. One, what did you do? 48.5. You've only been playing 3 days. It's a chunk of the times that the guys were doing in the league last week, but then they're really quite fast. So the pros were doing 143.2, 143.3, 143.4. And the Ants are doing sort of 45s, low 45s, high 44s. If you've only been playing 3 days though, you've just got to keep going, because you'll find, as you get more comfortable with things, you will suddenly have... No, honestly, you'll find seconds out of nowhere. If you're practicing enough and you're just looking, watch like track guides. Pick a track that isn't ridiculously difficult as well. Watch track guides on YouTube, just see how they're approaching the corner, especially ones that talk you through it, you know, where they're braking, how they're braking, what gear they're coming down to turn it. You just watch it, but keep going on to the improvements you make at the early stages come in quite big amounts, and then it becomes very much more granular, and it's little gains here and there. Oh yeah, don't want to be cutting chicanes. That would help. It's quick. It's also invalid. But yeah, just little bits here and there. You'll notice a tenth here, a couple of tenths there, 10th here, and suddenly like a whole second or two comes off your time. You've only been playing it a few days as well. It's just persevering with it, and not getting annoyed with it. Ring's not the easiest track either. Takes a bit of practice that. It's good fun though, really very good fun, that circuit. So Chumley into the pit, so pretty much everyone has come in now. Martin Legg doing his usual, leaving it till literally the last attempt, last possible lap. Double check he is actually going to come in, and he'll have to this lap. And that's everyone further down apart from Higgins, but he's he's clearly not coming back out. Neither is Ian Hall. I think he's done as well. It's a shame, just did not go his way tonight for Ian, which is a pity. So who else have we lost? So we've lost Conor Galbraith. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. I wonder if that was a disconnect, you know. Gonna go Braith was what car? Car number 54. Let me just have a quick check, you know. That's worth having a look at. Not sure. Can't find it in the log. Very odd. Shame if he has disconnected. Was in and amongst it. Yes, he's no longer in the race. So a few other drivers. Who else has dropped out or had to drop out? So Conor Galbraith. Did that get in? I hope so. I think he's in at the moment. So he should be okay. Yeah, he's sat in the pits with someone else. Scott Brewer taking the drive-through. He's not had the best of races on that front, unfortunately. I think that's his second of the race, second drive-through. You're under pressure your tyres. Oh, you sausage. Easily done. Still better than I had. Still better race than I had last night. So, yeah. So, Brignara 7.5 seconds back. So, a similar gap, as I said, to what they had before the pit window. Nuttall currently up in third. I think there's a decent stretch ahead, or 3 seconds ahead of Kieran Sharps. They spread out much more now then. Conrad Visocki in fifth spot, 1.2 back, another 1.4 back to Sam Chumley, who's down in sixth at the moment. Matt Whitburn as well in seventh. So those two having a battle, just like they were earlier in the race, but a little bit further back. A little nibble there from front bumper to rear bumper. So Whitburn ahead of Chumley again. Chumley going to go a bit wide there. I think he was a bit worried about hitting the back of him there and just went a little bit wide to just make sure he avoided him. So I think a few cars being lapped now. Where did Peter Greaves come out when he pitted? 17th. As I said again, I think he's starting like 29th. Just keeps on going. It's great to see. Always very consistent at that. Never one to give up, for sure. Yeah, I think we have 31 cars out on circuit still. Maybe Scott Brewer might have gone, so it might be less. Let's see. The Impower still going in. John Higgins in the pits at 31. That's 6 cars that have had the race ends. So yeah, Fleety and Smith left earlier. Higgins and Hall in the pits at the moment. Conor Galbraith and Scott Brewer being the other two. Scott Brewer, I think, probably just quit a minute ago after his second drive-through. Yeah, it's not been a good race for him, unfortunately. And Conor Galbraith, maybe, I think, disconnected. We'll have to see. Maybe caught up in an incident and quit after that. I'm not sure. More likely to be a disconnect, but we will see. So Visocki, just under a second back from Kieran Sharp, so a bit too far to really make a... Well, much too far back to make a move at the moment, but can at least think about it, try and close that gap up. So that's Martin Legg being lapped, letting those guys through. So that's D-Son and Mohamed Akram. Akram up the inside. Oh, Son coming across a little bit. Akram having to give him a bit more space. Going too wide though into the tight right-hander. Maybe go for the switch back a little bit. I don't think D-Son will give him that opportunity though. Gets a good exit. So still good battling between the two. Peter Greaves, as we said, in 17th, has got Eric Larsen right in behind him. So yeah, made a good, 10, 12 positions from his starting position. It's pretty impressive. So we just have 25 minutes remaining. Chumley Whitburn still at it. Yeah, definitely still at it. There's not as many close gaps now in that top section of the standings. in the timings, but there's still 25 minutes to go, still mistakes to be made. I'm sure we'll see a few drive-throughs pop up here and there, anywhere throughout the grid as well. I've seen them happen quite a lot in this sort of mid to front part of the grid, especially when they're pushing, trying to defend and keep those cars behind them. Makes you a bit less likely to be able to lift off when you make that mistake. You just cross your fingers the game won't penalise you when it does. So yeah, still plenty that can change in the remaining 25 minutes. Mormon still leading them by just over 7 seconds. Three-way battle now, though, for 5th spot. Visocki has been caught by Whitburn and Chumley. Chumley, it's an odd one here. Chumley will want to have a go at trying to get past Whitburn, but actually, if they've both got good pace, it would be in their interest to just work together, so to speak, and not battle too hard and try and catch the guys up front. Same with Visocki. He's only 1.4 back from Kieran Sharp. You can see there Sharp just coming through the picture first, and then these 3 just in behind. Quite a gap as well back to Jordan Watson in 8th, just around 6 seconds. Yeah, just under 6 seconds. He's got, oh, there's a spin then from Whitburn. Oh, gutting. Will he get going again? Is he going to get going again, or is he going to call that a day? Yeah, no, he's called it a day. That's a shame. I'll be honest, that sort of thing winds me up, because he could keep going. He's going to still beat the vast majority of the drivers still on circuit, but yeah, he just had a spin. He would have still been in the mid-pack, and he still had 23 minutes to make his way back through. But instead he's got angry and just decided to quit out. So that's a shame. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Shavinsky and I think he's going to have gone round as well. Oh, that's not a nice place to be. Oh, if the cars, yeah, you don't, cars going wide, so yeah, very much wise to do what he's done there and get out of the way. I'm not sure there's much in that. Again, that can get looked at early. I don't know if anyone's turned in on anyone else here. It's gone far chase cam, actually. Never my favourite camera for these kind of incidents. So he'll look up the inside. Will he just wash out a little bit? No. Okay, he's going to go quite narrow, or he's, yeah, I don't know. Oh, I don't know, yeah, that might. Javinsky's sort of come in towards the corner like Quinton isn't there, and Quinton is very much there. So he may suffer I don't know. That might get looked at still later on, whether anything will happen remains to be seen. They're quite spread out now, the top 4 then. Kieran Sharp still trying to keep Visocki and Chumley as far back as he can for as long as possible. It's obviously not the longest lap. About minute 33, minute 34 for these guys nearer the front. So 33.9 on that last lap. So not far off his pace around his best lap time. So still setting good laps. Visocki just under a second though. They are definitely closing. Chumley coming along for the ride, but obviously no Whitburn to defend from now. He'd made his mistake all of his own accord when he had that spin that we saw before he left the race. So yeah, as I said earlier on, not the easiest track to overtake on. Oh, yellow flag out then, so someone having a bit of a wide turn at the very least. There's so very many corners around here, it's so easy to lose it at. Chumley's so close to Conrad, and they are definitely much closer to Kieran Sharp, so he's going to be getting on the defensive pretty shortly, because it's such a short lap, you know, compared to some with, you know, someone like Spa that's a 2 minute 15, well not 2 minute 15, no one's doing it that quick, like 2 minute 20s for us slow coaches or mere mortals. 1 minute 33, 1 minute 34 lap is pretty short. You've got like Donington that's under 1 minute 30 as well for these quick guys, so feels like they're getting lots of laps in, but actually it's still plenty of time to go, still 20 minutes remaining. Yeah, clearly catching up to Kieran Sharp, but I'm fully expecting a couple of drive-throughs in the top 10-15 positions. So as you're pushing that hard, you just make those little mistakes at a couple of corners, and it only takes, you know, 4 of them in a race, and quite a few of the drivers could easily be on 1 or 2 already. And there we go then, Veldman with I think he had a drive through earlier, didn't he? Not going well for him. Well, drive through or stop car, I think it was a drive through, so he comes to the drive through. I wonder if that'll be him done. Hopefully it continues, but we will see. So making them move, a little bit of a touch, but I think they both survive. There's a little front corner contact maybe. I think they may have just avoided contact actually. Paul Whitburn in the pits as well. Yeah, Veldman decided that was that. Couldn't deal with that anymore. Still getting a bit too angry. It was a shame, as I said, because it's like they've still come ahead of plenty of cars that are still going. So it's a bit of a pity they can't continue. Paul Whitburn, car number 373. Don't know if he's had an incident. I don't think he has, but he's in again, so he must have something up. So 29 finishes so at the moment. So 8 cars not making it to the finish. Who else did we lose then? I suppose it was probably Whitburn and yeah, then the Mr. Veldman. It's a shame. More points for the rest of them though. Yeah, it's Kieran Sharp here. You can see Chumley and Wysocki. Almost nothing between them now. So he's going to have to really concentrate here. As you can see, Wysocki's been dropped a little bit, but if Kieran has to start getting defensive, he'll close right back up very, very quickly. So Nuttall won't have to worry at all. He's about 9.5 seconds back from Bruniar in third, but a good 4 and a bit seconds ahead of Sharp in fourth. So a fairly safe podium for him, it would look like at the moment. Chumley, though, looking pretty eager to try and make a move on Kieran. So looking on the outside maybe. Yeah, Kieran going on the inside line, using as much curb as possible. And that exit, all important. Don't want to give the other car a chance on the run down. Oh, a little bit of a wobble over the sausage curb. That'll be music to Kieran's ears there. Just let him get away a little bit. Put ahead of Chumley. See Sharp is just trying to take his corners as tight as possible. So for Wysocki behind though, we're not doing much encouraging. You can see him hit right there. Just watching what's going on ahead. Oh, making a move up the inside maybe. Will he be able to get alongside? No, he won't. He'll tuck back in. Waiting for his opportunity. There's still 16 and a bit minutes to go. So no massive rush, but they obviously don't want to be leaving it to the last minute. But yeah, Kieran being no mug. He's pretty solid driver. Oh, Sam goes a little bit wide. There's a Conrad right behind him. Will not need much of an invitation. So he doesn't mind if these two fight and slow each other down, and then he'll have to try and work out how to get past both. It's often you have to try and make a double overtake at the same time when they're battling like they are in front, although it's been dropped a little bit there. Yeah, Kieran just trying to work out if he can move across or if he needs to get defensive. It's about holding on to that spot. And he knows that Chumley would look up the inside there at the first possible opportunity if Sharpie left the door open, but he did not. He's a wise driver, is Kieran. He'll get across very quickly to try and close that gap. So Paul Whitburn back out on circuit. It's good to see. As we saw, he was in the pits a little bit earlier. So it's always worth continuing as well, because if you get a bunch of drivers drop out, so quite heavy for DNFs this race, it would seem. If you continue, even if you have the worst race in the world, you're still going to end up moving up a position for every person that retires. Yeah, so it's worth continuing for sure. If for the practice, if nothing else. So just under a quarter of an hour to go now. This battle for fourth. Nice and close. It would appear though, as I said, Jamie Nuttall. On board with him very briefly. About a corner or so ahead of the battle we were just watching. Looks like he's on for a fairly solid podium finish, if we can just keep going how he is. Mattia Brugnara as well. Got a little bit quicker than Moorman at the moment, but a little bit of pace management for Moorman now. Doesn't need to make any silly mistakes. Don't know how many track cuts he might be on as well. I'm sure a couple of these guys near the front will probably be on a couple, so they do need to be a bit careful. Very easy to get a last-minute drive-through around here. One of those tracks where you see it all the time. Every time we've had a league race or an evaluation race round Misano, very, very common to see front runners getting track cuts very late on. Jan-Niklas Airbrick having a good old battle with that Porsche of Jordan Watson right in front. You can't miss Airbrick's car, can you really? Stands out a little bit. So it's like a sore thumb, but it's not bad. So it's a funky old colour scheme, for sure. It's an acquired taste. This is Jordan using all of the exit there, try and get as much speed out. Just get on the loud pedal as early as possible. He's doing well to keep Airbrick behind him at the moment. These guys going well. Christopher Larsen not having quite as good a race as he usually would. Down in ninth at the moment. He's got Oscar Saristo right in behind him, so leading AM driver at the moment, mixing it with Christopher Larsen. Pretty impressive. So I wonder if Oscar's one of those drivers that might be just in between classes, and it's like, is he an AM or is he a pro? Is he an AM? Is he a pro? But if he's performing this well in this sort of positions, he'll be a pro. If he signs up with us next season, might even get adjusted to pro for this season, because I think he joined a bit later. This might even be I don't think it's his first race in the season, but it might be. Raced with us in other stuff before, but is a more recent newcomer to the GT3 league. It's quite a few new drivers actually. Very, very rare that we let people into seasons without doing the evaluation race, unless they've done some other racing with us before. When we've had a few other events on, that's helped. I think Oscar might have been in our Brit GT thing as well. Or the quick, clean, really quick, really clean, especially the really, really clean guys. If they recommend someone and they know it's on their head if the person turns out to be not clean, then generally I think they take a lot of responsibility for it, and yeah, often they come up trumps, so that's good. We've clearly got some quick drivers in this league, some new quick drivers as well, which is always awesome. On board with that front four battle then. Kieran Sharp still holding on as hard as he can, really, but these two. So it's just that awkward kind of circuit this, where you want to have a go, but you're just not quite getting the opportunity. Oh, there we are. As I said, Daniel Simmons with a drive-through, so there's one of them. So I'm sure there'll be a few drivers driving around on 2 or even 3 track cut warnings at the moment. This is a horrible circuit when that happens, because it's so easy to just get one like little mistake. You're not even really pushing mad hard. You just the wrong mistake at the wrong corner. Chumley, so Sharp and Chumley have had lots of cracking battles, and Chumley's going to try and hang it side by side. He knows how important it is to try and get alongside Sharpie. Oh, he's done very well to get alongside there. He's had to force Sharpie to give him the room. A little bit of car contact, but nothing much. And now Conrad will have a look as well. Will Sharp get up the inside? Or he might. God, cracking driving by the two of them. Both rapid drivers with really superb racecraft, and they'll give each other loads of room there. And still side by side, yeah they are. Conrad just watching from afar, seeing if he stands to gain anything. You can see Kieran's decided to try and take the wider line into the next corner through that left-hander. He'll slot in though. Really cracking driving from the both of them. Superb move by Sam Chumley. And he pops up into 4th spot. So Kieran Sharp did all he could there. Really, there's not much more he could have done to try and hold him back. And now he's going to be under attack from Conrad Visocki. So you don't want to turn your tyres into squares when you're in close battles like that, locking your brakes, and yeah, really puts you at a disadvantage for the last 10 minutes. So he'd have been mindful of that. Again, don't know how many track cut warnings these guys are on as well. Could easily be on a couple at the very least. There's been a lot of close defending and battling so far. So Kieran now, I think Chumley will get away a little bit here. Kieran might have to battle to hold on to 5th. But it's been some good fighting. As I said, that was great battling side by side for many, many corners. Really clean stuff. There's a tiny little bit of door bumping, but nothing untoward. Really, really good stuff to watch. And great racecraft from the both of them. Hard but fair. And fair play to Chumley for coming out victorious on that occasion. With just 9 minutes to go now then, so Conrad Visocki will do all he can to try and get ahead of Kieran. Visocki, we know he's got good pace, was the driver with the fastest lap last week at Hungaroring. Oh, that sausage curb has marmalised the floor of his car though. He'll have a sore bottom after going over that. And definitely know he's been in a race today. Let's go back on with Jan Nicholas Airbrick. Can we look up the inside maybe? No, he slots back in behind Jordan Watson. So again, these two been battling like this for maybe 10 minutes at this point. Good, fair, close racing. But as of yet, Airbrick not able to make his way past. Go back on board again as well with Peter Greaves. We've been on board with him a few times tonight. He'll have been one of the drivers to take advantage of Daniel Simons' drive-through. That's a shame for Daniel. But yeah, as I said, I'm sure he's one of many tonight, and still may see one or two more. So Greaves up in 17th. Eric Larsen right in front, so potentially 16th in the offing for him, which considering he started I think like 28th or 29th, maybe even further back, he'd be very, very happy with that. But still 7.5 minutes to go. I believe there's the leader right behind them though, Moorman. There it is, so they'll have to make way in the second for the lead car. Good stuff by Peter Greaves, lovely stuff. Just go nice and wide, let the lead car through. Be nice and predictable, make it obvious early what you're doing. And through he goes. And Greaves is good there because he knows even if he's having a fight with Larsen, Larsen has still got has got to let Moorman go. So actually the smart thing to do sometimes is let the lead car go behind, like from behind you quickly, and then try to follow it through. Quite, that's a little bit sideways. So a bit code brown when you're in the lead. Don't want to be ditching that. It's 6.2 seconds in the lead, but you have a bit of spin. Those 6.2 seconds that might feel like a massive chasm of a lead you've got can disappear really quickly. I don't say that like I know, like I've been someone who's had a lead like that at any point. I wish. Those days have well and truly disappeared. So got to be careful not to hold him up for too long. There we go. That's not a bad place to let him go actually. And through he goes. So Peter Greaves, does he latch back onto him? Yes he does. So they go back straight into the battle they were having before. So even if you get 17th, that's not a bad finish. I said there's good pace in this championship all throughout the grid. Even someone like Wojtek Neuwirth and 23rd we know has got good pace. Obviously got murdered at the start apparently. Oh, Matt Smith with a drive through then down in 28th. That's a shame. We do have a, yeah, we do a 29 with us. Paul Whitburn still out on circuit. Danger sign that said having an accident. Did he have it with someone else though? Let's have a look. Car number 8, he did, car 373. Which is Paul Whitburn. So, yeah, so I'm assuming that would have been a lap situation. Oh, Savinsk could be able to drive through as well in 14th. As I said, those last minute drive throughs coming into fruition as they always do around here. Going forward with Chumley then. It's pulled away nicely then. 3.8 seconds back from Jamie Nuttall. So if he'd got past a little bit earlier, might have had a bit of an attack on Nuttall. Won't have enough. We'll close that gap, but not by anywhere enough to make a fight of it. I think it's just maybe got a couple of back markers behind him. Kieran Sharp still on the defensive though. He's very good at this. Well, you see, just going wide a bit there. That's the sort of thing I mean. It's very easy to get those track cuts like that. Savinsky served his drive through then, he's back out. So how many of our front runners are sitting there precariously on 3 track cut warners? I wouldn't be amazed at all to find out in the chat afterwards a few people going, oh my god, I was so close to ending up with a drive through there. And anyone in the top 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, you're getting a drive through, you're losing oodles of positions. There's no ridiculous size gap there. Even if Moorman got one, he'd still end up in 7th or 8th. At the very low, probably further back than that actually. Yeah, Matt Smith serving his drive through as well then. Oscar Saristo. Very close to the back of Christopher Larsen. Okay, these two have been fighting for many a lap as well. Interesting colour choices in this. It's not a colour combination I've seen used very often, if ever. So it's nice and unique. Leading AM driver at the moment. Whether he'll stay an AM driver, I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe gets bumped into pro, but we'll see. So I think he joined the league slightly later, so it was maybe slightly harder to judge. Right in behind Larsen, look at that. Couldn't be much closer, just means you have to be very studious on the brakes, and fair play, he's on them quite early there, getting the car slowed down a little dab of the on the middle pedal, get the speed decreasing, just you've got a bit more flexibility with slowing down if you have to. To be right up to the car in front does leave you a little bit vulnerable if they have to brake a little bit earlier or anything. To ending up slamming it right up the exhaust pipe of the car and yeah, ruining races. So yeah, it's good, decent racecraft all round. Oh, do you know what? Chumley has really closed into Nuttall. Nuttall has had a poor couple of laps. A 1:35.5 on the last lap, 1.6 seconds slower than Sam Chumley. Chumley only 1.1 seconds behind now. So these guys really struggling a little bit towards the end. So Moorman looks safe. Still, he's lost a little bit of his lead as well, but about 6 seconds. So maybe they are having to. Maybe back markers are the order of the day here. Don't think Nuttall had an incident with any of them, but maybe just had a few slower laps due to getting hordes of back markers all at the same time. Chumley, look at this, half a second back. Nothing between them at all. Yep, I think if Nuttall is just losing pace here and those tyres are gone, yeah, legs like, I don't want to be part of this, you guys fight, I'm out of here. Fair play, I'd have done the same thing. Yeah, Chumley's just got the pace, isn't he? I think Nuttall's got pretty much no chance of keeping him behind here, but he's only got a battle for maybe a lap and a half. So how far ahead was Moorman? So no, Moorman is going to be another lap after this. So 2 more laps for these guys. Chumley knows he's got the sheer pace, he's just got to set it up correctly. It's difficult when you've got that much more speed than the car in front. As long as it's not making massive mistakes, it's still on the racing line. You can't just drive obviously through the back of it. So you have to try and set up the overtake, not be too close to the car in front, out of a corner, and give yourself a chance to launch yourself out of the turn and get past. That's not going to help though. That'll drop him back again a little bit. Another couple of tenths lost that will be. Come back to these guys in a little bit. Oh, and it seems Visoki's made a head of a mistake as well. Where is he? Here we are. Yeah, 137 on the last lap, so not very poor lap, previous lap for him. Car number 20 again, don't think was involved in anything, but might have been back marker issues, who knows. Oh, Neweth with a drive through right at the last minute as well, so may not even serve that, I suspect. God, so yeah, just a whole load of them all coming right at the death. So what's Chumley going to do? So Mormon starting the final lap. Be another back marker in front as well. Hopefully they'll see these guys come in. Well, you can't really miss them, I suppose. So just going to need to be able to get out of the way at the right moment and not hamper them too much. He's going to give himself a slightly difficult task, being where he is at the moment. Probably try and go wide at the left-hander would be the smart thing to do. And I think he's probably still there. So just hope the back marker does not get involved. He'll be getting waved blue flags. They'll be given a flash as well. And this is the last thing Nuttall needs. He does not want back markers getting involved. So hopefully, I think that's Van der Wolf, I believe, number 98. Easiest thing here would be just to move over and let them through. He's not in a battle with these cars. Or just go wide at a corner and let them through, because Nuttall now needs, there we go, he's seen them. He needs to just get well out of the way, let them through, not hamper them in the slightest. And there we are, does it in the end. You want to be careful when you end up going wide like that. You can have, give yourself a drive through, and you do not want that. So what will these guys do at the last moment? Neweth does serve his drive through on the last lap then. So will Chumley make the podium or not? Nuttall's holding on for all he's worth here. It's going to be difficult. So clearly Chumley has got much more pace. We'll quickly go on board, and this is probably when the overtake will happen. Mormon then, what a dominating drive that was. Superb from start to finish. Brilliant in qualification. And he carries it all the way through the race. Superb driving. Brugnara will take second spot. Will Nuttall hold on for the final podium spot? Just one more corner to hold on. Chumley will try and get a little bit of a cut back, get the drive out the final corner, but no, Nuttall does very well there, holds on to that podium position, takes third from Chumley. Good drive by both of them. Superb driving yet again. Kieran Sharp takes fifth. It's helpful to hold off Visoki, who obviously dropped back in the end of the last few laps. Airbrick will come home in seventh. Christopher Larsen. And Saristo, Saristo popped down to 10th on there. I think Jordan Watson, where did Jordan Watson go? So he dropped down to 10th, so he must have had a poor final lap. Yeah, he made a mistake on the final lap of 36 for him. Rory Logan 11th. That was still able to salvage some decent points. Mohamed Akram comes home in 12th. I think he'll take that. Deson. Now a couple of corners to go. Coming home in 13th. We've got Quinton. Another 10-15 seconds behind. Will probably be one of the last drivers to finish, due to quite a few cars have already finished being lapped. So Peter Greaves came home in 16th, just behind Eric Larsen in the end. So actually, yeah, moved up a position. So he'll be very happy with that. That's very nicely done. I think took advantage of Savinsky's drive through. Quinton coming home 14th spot. Good drive from him. Eric Larsen's the new driver for us tonight. Coming in 15th place. Very well done to him. Peter Greaves just ahead. Yeah, well done though. It was a good drive. Well done, man. But yeah, if we actually have a quick look, so Peter Greaves started, yeah, 28th. So he'll be very happy with. He'll be very happy with 16th, I think, for sure. But what a drive from Mormon! Just so good in qualifying. That was a third of a second ahead of anyone else with the three best sectors, and then yeah, just dominated. From the start of the race all the way through. Brugnara did what he could. Another second spot. So he's going to be in really good position in the standings after tonight, halfway through the championship. He's in a really good spot. Oh, good luck. Oh, yeah, so our guys are doing that as well. Akram, if it's the same one, I think, at the ACCSS Spa race. Yeah, we're in the top split. I think we're in Super Bowl for that as well, so that should be good fun. But Jamie Nuttall as well, holding on towards the end there for that podium. Very happy with that. Only half a second in the end between him and Chumley. So very, very well done.
Green line. Give it all you got.
It turns out Bentley quite nice round here, isn't it? Oh, unlucky, Mohammed. Oh well, you got it round. Hopefully didn't murder too many people. You know, Can't say fairer than that. A good day's work, I think. But yeah, some good old racing going on from everyone there. Some good fighting. Obviously, there'll be some incidents. They'll get looked at as always. But on the whole, with some very, very good fighting. Lots of trains being formed tonight. And yeah, hopefully people enjoyed the racing they did get. They did get while those trains were there. He may have been here a little bit earlier. Was he here earlier? Good question. If he was, he would have been very briefly. I don't think he has been though. Oh, he would be though. He would be very proud. Oh, he is. There we are. Hello, JP. So, did you say hi earlier? Can you remember? You're there just sipping your brew. By brew, I mean pint. Pint of God knows what, but it's probably a pint. You are, you know. You're unlikely having it in a posh glass. As long as the drink isn't glowing orange, I don't really mind. But hello, JP. So yeah, very proud. Oh, Bentley driver's looking on lovingly. No, it's a superb drive all the way through. So well done to Jerome there on the victory, and Oscar as well for the class win 2. So yes, that was round number 3. So we're halfway through the championship now. I said I think Brugnaro will be in a very good spot after tonight's race. He's got a 4th, a 1st, and a 2nd from the championship so far. So he'll be in a very good place to take a punt at the overall title. So yes, next week, again, Thursday evening, round number 4 is at Kyalami. So it should be good fun. Famous South African circuit. Challenging track, but should be pretty epic. No Martin Legg for that week. That's the only driver that I know is signed out so far, but I'm sure there'll be plenty more to sign out in the week ahead. Too much information, Mohammed. Too much information. Hello, JP. Hi. Hi, bye, hi. Yeah, hi. It was like last minute, but hello nonetheless. So yeah, should be good fun. So yes, that, at the moment, next scheduled stream is most likely next Thursday. See if I can stream something before that if the opportunity arises. But plenty going on at the moment as well. So may have to wait and be patient until next Thursday. But yeah, should be good fun, Kyalami. Not how's the best way to describe this? It's not. You see quite a few incidents there. There's just quite a few corners where people misjudge things. Bottom of the hill's normally the main one, but yeah, should be good fun. So yeah, join me at the same time next week to see a bit of Kyalami murdering going on. Fingers crossed that's not the case. Loads of clean racing at Kyalami. That's what we want, drivers. Please. We would all really appreciate it, trust me. But yeah, look good tonight. So we'll see how many incidents we have to go through with the panel to sort out for this week's race. But yeah, good fun. Cheers everybody for watching. Cheers to all the new follows, much appreciated. Hope you all enjoyed the race. I'll be back again next Thursday at Kyalami for round number 4. Until then though, have a good Friday tomorrow, lovely weekend, and a good next week. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you then. So see you all next week. Take care, see you all soon, and catch you all next time.